All right, everybody, stand by. Going live in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. This is Steve Viola, your announcer for a special series of broadcasts presented by Autolite, the Mercury Summer Theater of Suspense. Ladies and gentlemen, the element of suspense is so vital to our story tonight that our sponsors, Autolite, are omitting their usual commercial message during the intermission between the acts so that our play will go uninterrupted from spooky start to spooky finish. Therefore, let's give Autolite, featuring Hap and Harlow, some time right now to extol the virtues of Autolite Stay Full Batteries. Gentlemen?
Harlow, you're on.
No, Hap, I refuse to go on tonight.
Why, Harlow?
I'm hurt. Autolite won't let me say what I want to say about Autolite Stay Full Batteries.
The sponsor won't let you talk about his product?
I tell you, Hap, they inhibit my artistic expression. I want to sling wonderful words about my personal experience with Autolite Stay Full Batteries, but all they let me say is, an Autolite Stay Full battery needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. Yep, that's all they let me say. Needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
Well, that's important.
What's more, an Autolite Stay Full battery has extra plates protected by fiberglass insulation for stronger life and longer life.
Well, folks want to know those things, Harlow.
Well, maybe so. And in recent tests conducted according to the Society of Automotive Engineers Life Cycle Standards, Autolite Stay Full batteries did give 70% longer lasting average life than batteries without all those features.
Well, now, Harlow, folks should be told those facts.
Well, maybe you're right, Hap. Maybe I shouldn't be angry. Maybe I should put in a commercial right here.
Oh, it's too late, Harlow. Here's suspense.
We of Mercury reckon that a story doesn't have to appeal to the heart. It can also appeal to the spine. Sometimes your heart wants to be warm. Sometimes you want your spine to tingle. Well, the tingling will be quite audible as you listen to tonight's classic among radio thrillers. Its author is one of the most gifted of all the writers who ever worked in the medium, Lucille Fletcher, who also wrote the single greatest radio script ever written, Sorry, Wrong Number. The title of this, her terrifying little tale of gruel for this evening, is another spine tingler, by name, The Hitchhiker.
I'm in an auto camp on Route 66, just west of Gallup, New Mexico. If I tell it, maybe it will help me. It will keep me from going crazy. But I must tell this quickly. I'm not crazy now. I feel perfectly well. Except I am running a slight temperature. My name is Ronald Adams. I'm 36 years of age, unmarried, tall, dark, with a black mustache. I drive a 1940 Ford V8, license number 6V7989. I was born in Brooklyn. Yeah, all this I know. I know I'm at this moment perfectly sane, that it's not me that's gone mad, but something else, something utterly beyond my control. But I must speak quickly. At any moment, the link with life may break. This may be the last thing I ever tell on earth, the last night I ever see the stars. 6 days ago, I left Brooklyn to drive to California.
Goodbye, son. Good luck to you, my boy.
Goodbye, Mother. Here, give me a kiss and then I'll go.
Sound, door opening. Sound of rain.
I'll come out with you to the car.
Ah, it's raining. Stay here at the door. Hey, what's this? Tears?
It's just the trip, Ronald. I wish you weren't driving.
Oh, Mother, there you go again. People do it every day.
I know. But you'll be careful, won't you? Promise me that you'll be extra careful. Don't fall asleep or drive fast or pick up any strangers on the road.
Strangers, don't you worry. There isn't anything going to happen. It's just 8 days of perfectly simple driving on smooth, decent, civilized roads with a hot dog or a hamburger stand every 10 miles.
Sound. Car engine on road.
I was in excellent spirits. The drive ahead, even the loneliness, seemed like a lark. But I reckoned without him. Crossing the Brooklyn Bridge that morning in the rain, I saw a man leaning against the cables. He seemed to be waiting for a lift. There were spots of fresh rain on his shoulders. He was carrying a cheap overnight bag in one hand. He was thin, nondescript, with a cap pulled down over his eyes. He stepped off the walk, and if I hadn't swerved...
Sound. Car tires squeal.
If I hadn't swerved, I'd have hit him. I mean, I almost did hit him. Now, I would have forgotten him completely, except that just a little while later, while crossing the Pulaski Skyway over the Jersey Flats, I saw him again. At least, he looked like the same person. He was standing now with one thumb pointing west. I couldn't figure out how he got there, but I thought maybe one of those fast trucks had picked him up, beaten me to the Skyway, and let him off. Well, anyway, I didn't stop for him. Then late that night, I saw him again. It was on the new Pennsylvania Turnpike between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. It's 265 miles long with a very high speed limit. I was just slowing down for one of the tunnels when I saw him standing under an arc light by the side of the road. I could see him quite distinctly. The bag, the cap, even the spots of fresh rain spattered over his shoulders. He hailed me this time. Oh, oh. I stepped on the gas like a shot. It's lonely country through the Alleghenies, and I had no intention of stopping. Besides, the coincidences or whatever it was gave me the willies. I stopped at the next gas station.
Sound. Car brakes. 2 honks of horn.
Yes, sir.
Fill her up, will you?
Check your oil.
No, thanks.
Nice night, ain't it?
Yes, hasn't been raining here lately, has it?
Not a drop of rain all week.
Oh, no? I suppose that hasn't done your business any harm.
Nah, people drive through here all kinds of weather. Mostly business, though. Ain't many pleasure cars out on the turnpike this season of the year.
I guess not. What about hitchhikers?
Hitchhikers? Here?
Why? What's the matter? Don't you ever see any?
I'd be a fool to start out to hitchhike on this road. Just look at it.
You mean you never see anybody?
No. Maybe they get a lift before the turnpike starts. I mean, just before the toll house. But then it's a mighty long ride. Most cars wouldn't pick up a guy for that long of a ride. This is pretty lonesome country here. Mountains, woods. You ain't seen nobody like that, have you?
Oh, no, it's just a technical question.
I see. Well, full tank, that'll be $1.49 with the tax.
Sound. Car driving on road.
The thing gradually passed from my mind as a coincidence, and I had a good night's sleep in Pittsburgh. I didn't think about the man all the next day until just outside of Zanesville, Ohio. I saw him again. It was a bright, sunshiny afternoon. The peaceful Ohio fields, brown with the autumn stubble, lay dreaming in the golden light. I was driving slowly, drinking it in, when the road suddenly ended in a detour. In front of the barrier, he was standing. Now let me explain about his appearance before I go on. I repeat, there was nothing sinister about him. He was as drab as a mud fence. nor was his attitude menacing. He merely stood there waiting, almost drooping a little, the cheap overnight bag in his hand. He looked as though he'd been waiting there for hours, and he hailed me. He started to walk forward.
Hello? Hello?
I'd stopped the car, of course, for the detour, and for a few minutes I couldn't seem to find the new road. I realized that he must be thinking that I'd stopped for him.
Hello?
No, not just now. I'm sorry.
Going to California? Sound, car starting and driving off.
No, not today. I'm going to New York. Sorry. Sorry. After I got the car back on the road again, I felt like a fool. Yet the thought of picking him up, of having him sit beside me, was somehow unbearable. Yet at the same time, I felt more than ever unspeakably alone. Hour after hour went by. The fields, the towns ticked off one by one. The lights changed. I knew now that I was going to see him again. And though I dreaded the sight, I caught myself searching the side of the road, waiting for him to appear.
Sound, car brakes. Car horn honks twice. Screen door opens.
Yep. What is it? What you want?
You sell sandwiches and pop here, don't you?
Yep. Well, we do in the daytime, or we're closed up for the night.
Yeah, I know, but I was wondering if you could possibly let me have a cup of coffee, black coffee.
Not this time of the night, mister. My wife's the cook, and she's in bed.
Well, now listen, just a minute ago, there was a man standing here, right beside here, and a suspicious-looking man.
Henry? Who is it, Henry?
Oh, it's nobody, Mother. Just a fella thinks he wants a cup of coffee. Go back to bed.
Now, I don't mean to disturb you, but you see, I was driving along when I just happened to look, and there he was.
What was he doing?
Nothing.
You've been hitting the bottle? That's what's the matter with you. You got nothing better to do than wake decent folk out of their hard-earned sleep? Now you get going. Go on, get on.
It looked as though he was going to rob you.
I ain't got nothing in this den to lose. Now on your way before I call out Sheriff Polk.
Sound, car driving on road.
I got into the car again and drove on slowly. I was beginning to hate the car. If I could have found a place to rest a little, but I was in the Ozark Mountains of Missouri now. The few resort places there were closed. I had seen him at that roadside stand. I knew I'd see him again, maybe at the next turn of the road. I knew that when I saw him next, I'd run him down. But I didn't see him again until late the next afternoon.
Sound, railroad signal bell. Train approaching.
I'd stopped the car at a sleepy little junction just across the border into Oklahoma to let a train pass by. When he appeared across the tracks, he was leaning against a telephone pole. It was a perfectly airless, dry day. The red clay of Oklahoma was baking under the southwestern sun. Yet there were spots of fresh rain on his shoulders. I couldn't stand that. I mean, without thinking blindly, I started the car across the tracks. He didn't even look up at me. He was staring at the ground. I stepped on the gas hard, veering the wheel sharply toward him. And I could hear the train in the distance now, but I didn't care. Then something went wrong with the car. It stalled right on the tracks. The train was coming closer. I could hear its bell, its cry, its whistle crying. Yet still, he just stood there. Now I knew that he was beckoning me to my death.
Sound, train rushing by.
Well, I frustrated him that time. The engine started. It worked at last. I managed to back up. But after the train had passed, he was gone. And I was all alone in the hot, dry afternoon. After that, I knew I had to do something. I didn't know who this man was or what he wanted of me. I only knew that from now on I mustn't let myself be alone on the road for 1 minute. Oh, hello there. Hello, like a ride?
What do you think? How far are you going?
Amarillo. I'll take you to Amarillo.
Amarillo, Texas?
Yeah, I'll drive you there.
Gee, sure.
Hop in.
Sound. Car door opens, closes. Car drives off.
Mind if I take off my shoes? My dogs are killing me.
No, go right ahead.
Oh, gee. What a break this is. Swell car and a decent guy driving all the way to Amarillo. All I've been getting so far is trucks.
Hitchhike much?
Sure. Only it's tough sometimes in these great open spaces to get the brakes.
Yeah, I think it would be, but I'll bet, though, if you got a good pickup and a fast car, you could get to places faster than, well, say, another person in another car.
I don't get you.
Well, you take me, for instance. Suppose I'm driving across the country at a nice steady clip, about 45 miles an hour. Couldn't a girl like you, just standing beside the road waiting for lifts, beat me to town after town, provided she got picked up every time in a car that was doing 65 or 70 miles an hour?
I don't know. Maybe she could. Maybe she couldn't. What difference does it make?
Oh, no difference. It's just a crazy idea I had sitting here in the car.
Ugh. Imagine spending your time in a swell car thinking of things like that.
Well, what would you do for it instead?
What would I do? If I was a good-looking fellow like yourself, I'd just enjoy myself every minute of the time. I'd sit back and relax, and if I saw a good-looking girl along the side of the... Hey!
Sound. Tires squeal.
Hey, did you see him too?
See who?
That man standing beside the barbed wire fence.
I didn't see anybody.
Yeah, right there.
It was nothing, just a barbed wire fence. What you think he was doing trying to run into that barbed wire fence?
There was a man there, I tell you, a thin gray man with an overnight bag in his hand. I was trying to run him down.
Run him down? You mean kill him?
No, I'm trying to get rid of him, or at least prove that he's real. But you say you didn't see him back there. You sure?
I didn't see a soul. And as far as that's concerned,
Well, watch for him. Watch for him the next time and keep watching. Keep your eyes peeled on the road. He'll turn up again. Maybe any minute. There, right there.
Sound. Car tires squeal. Car stops.
no! How does this door work? I'm getting out of here.
Did you see him that time? Did you see him?
No, I didn't see him that time. And personally, mister, I don't expect never to see him. All I want to do is to go on living, and I don't see how I ever will driving with you.
Look, I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Please don't go.
So if you'll excuse me.
No, please, you can't go. Listen, how'd you like to go to California? I'll drive you all the way to California.
Seeing pink elephants all the way? No thanks.
Listen, please, just 1 minute.
You know what I think you need, big boy? Not a girlfriend, just a good old dose of sleep. There, I got it now.
Sound. Car door opens.
No, you can't go.
Leave your hands off me, do you hear? Leave your hands off me.
Sound. Car door slams shut.
No, come back here, please, come back. She ran from me, as if I was some kind of monster. A few minutes later, I saw a passing truck pick her up, and I knew then that I was utterly alone. I was in the heart of the great Texas prairies. There wasn't a car on the road after the truck went by. I tried to figure out what to do, how to get a hold of myself. If I could find a place to rest, or even if I could sleep right here in the car, just a few hours, you get some sleep just alongside the road. I was getting my winter overcoat out of the back seat to use as a blanket, just as a blanket.
Hello.
When I saw him coming toward me,
Hello.
coming toward me, emerging from the herd of moving steers.
Hello.
I didn't wait for him to come any closer.
Hello.
Maybe I should have spoken to him then, fought it out then and there, and now he began to be everywhere. Whenever I stopped even for a minute, for gas, for oil, for a drink of pop, a cup of coffee, a sandwich, he was there. I saw him standing outside the auto camp in Amarillo that night when I dared to slow down. He was standing near the drinking fountain, a little camping spot just inside the border of New Mexico. He was waiting for me outside the Navajo reservation where I stopped to check my tires. I saw him in Albuquerque where I bought 10 gallons of gas. I was afraid now, afraid to stop. I began to drive faster and faster. I was in lunar landscape now, the great arid mesa country of New Mexico. I drove through it with the indifference of a fly crawling across the face of the moon. Now he didn't even wait for me to stop unless I drove at 85 miles an hour over those endless roads. He waited for me at every other mile. I could see his figure, shadowless, flitting before me, still in its same attitude over the still and lifeless ground, flitting over dried-up rivers, over broken stones cast up by old glacial upheavals, flitting in the pure and cloudless air. I was beside myself when I finally reached Gallup, New Mexico this morning. There's an auto camp here. It's cold, almost deserted this time of year. I went inside and asked if there was a telephone. I had the feeling if I could just speak to somebody familiar, somebody that I loved, I could pull myself together.
Number, please.
Long distance.
Thank you.
This is long distance.
I'd like to put in a call to my home in Brooklyn, New York. I'm Ronald Adams. The number's Beechwood 9970.
Thank you. Thank you. What is your number?
My number is 312.
Albuquerque? New York for Gallup, New York. Gallup, New Mexico calling. Beechwood 9970.
I'd read somewhere that love could banish demons. It was in the middle of the morning. I knew Mother'd be home, and I pictured her, tall, white-haired, in her crisp house dress, going about her tasks. It'd be enough, I thought, just to hear the even calmness of her voice.
Will you please deposit $3.85 for the first 3 minutes? When you have deposited $1.50, will you wait until I have collected the money?
Sound. Coins dropped into phone.
All right. Deposit another $1.50.
Sound. Coins dropped into phone.
Will you please deposit the remaining 85 cents?
Sound. Coins dropped into phone.
Ready with Brooklyn? Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Adams' residence.
Hello, Mother.
This is Mrs. Adams' residence. Who is it you wish to speak to, please?
Who's this?
This is Mrs. Whitney.
Mrs. Whitney. I don't know any Mrs. Whitney. Is this Beechwood 9970?
Yes,
Where's my mother? Where's Mrs. Adams?
Mrs. Adams is not at home. She's still in the hospital.
The hospital.
Yes. Who is this calling, please? Is this a member of the family?
What's she in the hospital for?
She's been prostrated for 5 days. A nervous breakdown. Who is this calling?
Nervous breakdown. My mother doesn't have.
It's all taken place since the death of her oldest son, Ronald.
The death of her oldest son, Ronald? Hey, what is this? What number is this?
This is Beechwood 9970. It's all been very sudden. He was killed 6 days ago in an automobile accident on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Sir, 3 minutes are up. Your 3 minutes are up, sir.
And so I'm sitting here in this deserted auto camp in Gallup, New Mexico. And so I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get a hold of myself. Otherwise I'll go crazy. Outside it's night, the vast soulless night of New Mexico. A million stars are in the sky. Ahead of me stretch 1,000 miles of empty mesa and mountains, prairies, and desert. Somewhere among them, he is waiting for me. Somewhere. Somewhere. I shall know who he is and who I am.
We'll be right back to tell you more about our next Mercury Theater of Suspense. But first, here's a word from Autolite.
Friends, even a camel can't compete with an Autolite Stay Full battery. Because an Autolite Stay Full battery needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. Yes, sir, that dandy, dynamic, dependable Autolite Stay Full battery needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. An Autolite Stay Full battery has extra plates, too, for extra power. Protected by fiberglass installation for longer life and stronger life. Why, in recent tests conducted according to the Society of Automotive Engineers Life Cycle Standards, Autolite Stay Full batteries give 70% longer average life than batteries without all these features. Remember, you're always right with Autolite.
Next time, ladies and gentlemen, we bring to your radio another Mercury favorite. We hope a favorite of yours. You've asked for it for many times. Jane Eyre, with Rebecca Rowe in the leading role. More than half of our nation's workers make their living in the food industry or a related field. Next week in Chicago, the National Association of Retail Grocers is holding its first post-war convention at which the problems of food distribution will be discussed and new ideas and methods will be worked out to better serve its customers. The makers of Pabst Blue Ribbon beer salute the grocer who is doing his very best under trying conditions to keep America well fed. This program came to you through the courtesy of Autolite. This is the WWOW Radio Network. Music for tonight's episode was performed by Heather Edwards. Sound effects were read by Alan Dolderer. In the cast were yours truly, Steve Viola, Heather Edwards, Rob Rutan, Rebecca Rowe, Alan Dolderer, and Michael Johnson. Tune in next time when WWOW brings you more of the most exciting and thrilling radio suspense ever to be broadcast on air. Good night, America. Bye-bye and bye bonds.
And we're off the air.